Hello and welcome to this video on doing decals and painting. As you can see here, this is all done on the surface of the block using all sorts of different things, basic colors as well as metallic, so you can see a nice sort of sheen as I move along there. These can all be found if you bring up tab. You've got the paintbrush there, that'll be all the neat little colors. You can drag and drop them across as needed, and it gives them the names as well for these. So you've got different greys, browns and tans, nice hazard lines, they're quite good. Metallic coatings, they're quite neat as well because they give a nice sort of shine to it. Then you've got this lower tab here, and these are all the different types of markings. So imagine them like different shaped stickers. So I use this surface at the moment. And the same with blocks. You can put them down like that, or you can stretch them by holding the mouse down, and you get some numbers pop up as well, which give you sort of a good sizing sort of guide. There's a limit to how far they go. It's usually a maximum of 4 for whichever direction. And no, they don't change height. And of course you can layer these all up as well. And then once you've got a color selected, you can change their color. So already you can start to see how you can build up different types of shapes. But there's a few little tricks which can be used in order to get these neat sort of backwards sort of shapes, because as you can see, there isn't anything which is backwards. You've got that one where it fills in solid white, half circle or quarter circle, sorry. But getting to the background bit, how are we going to do that? Well, the neat thing is on each of these where it is sort of, you've got the white, that's solid color, but where it's black, that's clear, that's see-through. So you can start to do a combination of putting down, say, a color that you want there. Oh, let's make that neater. So you can drag the square out like that. And I'm going to just use grey for now since that's there. And then what I do is I take the half circle one, drag it out to its shape, and you can see it fills it in like that. But if I take for the background color, which is this dark blue, and color it there, it now gives the effect that you've done an inside edge. A lot of it now depends on layering things in the right order, because if I go for that shape there, colour that in like that colour, go from there, change that to grey. If I suddenly decide I want to change that one there to white, the hitbox for the shape still covers up. The alpha doesn't let you through the hitbox, so making sure to get things coloured in the right order is important for the next steps, so I'm going to show in a moment. So you right click to get rid of things. So I've got a few examples, so some basic lettering, and these are, there's no complexity to these whatsoever. I'll just colour that in for a demonstration on what I do in a moment. So if I copy the letter A, let's use the large plus signs. You can see how they fit on a grid. These ones are small grid attached, but they allow you to go in half steps. So that's quite useful for doing a combination of things, as you'll see in a moment. So I'll drag that out, put that in there. What height is that? There we go. And then just, there we go. And whoops. And you just got a basic letter A really. But what I'm going to do is just demonstrate this layering effect. So I'm going to colour that in black. In fact, you can see an example of this on one of the starter buildings. Starter buildings. So what I'm going to do, instead of starting there, I'm going to start slightly offset. And then just put it in there. And you can already see what I'm doing. I'm just doing a neat shadow effect. And there we go. So you can make the letters pop out a bit more, and I've attempted to try and do each of the letters without doing any overlap technique, just purely putting them different shapes. Now I like doing repeating patterns, as you can see, and these are just, again, that's just picking a sizing format and just stretching them there and using this combination of background color blocks. I mean, you can see there, if I right click, it sets it back to its original color. Right, there we go. Yeah, put that in there. There, get rid of those. So yeah, this is just where I've used grey decals mixed with the actual color of the blocks. Turn on the torch. Yeah. And then a bit more interesting, I think this is more ancient Greek Roman style pattern. I then playing around with the angle decals, so stretching them out to about something like that, and just arranging the colours again. I then do something a bit fancy. Oh yeah, numbers. I then experiment with this whole thing of putting down a shape and setting it to the background colour in order to give an effect. So I've got this nice wave pattern here. Now I'll quickly sort of demonstrate this one. So I've got the baseline there, and then we've got a bit of an effect there. So if I go along there, oops, yeah, let's cover it there. No, this is a problem when you set things up like a few weeks back and then everything goes wrong as you forget how you did it. Right, let's get that there, that there. Shape that there, just for kicks at the moment. Now, because I've done this a few times, you can sort of see that when you move the mouse over, it does give a highlight, so you can sort of find things a bit later on. So now let's get the black, since that's what the background is, and just click on there. Oops, there's one I missed. Right click and bring that back. There. And put that down. And there you see, you can create this sort of neat wave effect. Now because I haven't got, you've only got one covering another, so there's not many layers, it's the process looks okay. And for flying away over the distance, you see that they do stay visible quite well. Now I've done further examples where I started to experiment a little bit, and I've just covered them up here. So if I right click, get that away, you can see where I've done a nice wavy pattern. So if I go to decals, you can see there's two decals there just to do the downward arc, and then two decals for the upper one. And all I'm doing is just colouring the blocks with the background colour as needed. Oh, I'm going to have to find out what those colours are again now. I'll do that later. But you can see how... Let's put this back in. This is a nice example of what happens if you delete by accident. Where's it gone? Oh. Bring that back. There we go. Now it loses the colour, but the decals stay behind. If you've got blocks selected, it'll delete blocks on right click, and if you've got decals selected, it'll only get rid of decals when you right click. So that's a nice little safety feature to remember. And of course, if you've got colours selected, it gets rid of the colour. But this is just the basic decal pattern I've got. And so if I colour in those blocks using the colours I got there, get rid of that. Again, sometimes you can get away with the hitboxes not lining up properly. The reason it's staying black there is because there's a black decal, just to give a nice bit of border. Whoops. Ah. And then what you can do is just go dunk dunk dun, there, and bring it in there. And that's a nice, reasonably straightforward one to get a nice wavy pattern. A bit more experimentation here with layering. Oops, get to the right blocks. Now again with this one, is because the blocks got deleted, they've been removed. Oh, I've ruined that one. But as you can see, this one is a bit more layering with the decals. So I've drawn one along that area. Well, I've done that decal first and then drawn that one over the top. And when I link them up, do a quick example. So I do one like that, and then I'm starting it off offsetted like that. So I do one in here like that. I colour these blocks in. You get that effect of a sort of a bridge in that sense, and then you continue the pattern on like that. Now, as you can see, I've got a fair few examples, and I just end up making things more complicated. Well, pretty much for myself, but I've got a nice, as you can see, a Celtic knot pattern, and this is pretty much the same, a bit like this overlapping here, but now for each section, it's down to in which order you put things down. I'll do a little example a bit later on because I don't want to bog it down by stopping every time. But it's a little bit of a mixture from there. So if we go to the next one, where I've expanded the same way from that one to that one, I've started adding borders by doing successively smaller sort of quarter arcs. I then thought, well, went a bit crazy and did full multicolored bordered Celtic knots, and yeah, as I said, I'll do an example in a moment. The last large one I did before I probably started to get a migraine was this one. So again, following the route all the way down there, switch to a color, swap to there, and then there. Now, yeah. And of course, I then I thought, well, if I can do really complicated, let's try smaller and simpler, and just something like this. And that can be really quickly done. And what I'll do to demonstrate how to do these ones, I'll do one of these small ones, and hopefully that will be easier to sort of work with or sort of see how to figure out. So start off with a small quarter circle, and what you do then is you do its opposite there, and you're essentially doing the under color, which the color which is going to go underneath for the first bit. And then what we do is we just click there and click there. If you hold down middle mouse button, it'll bring up what's underneath your mouse at the time. So I've got here this color, and it should fill it into an empty spot on your hotbar. So I can then click on there and click on there, and you can see how I've now got a nice sort of curving color. Now what I'm going to do, actually no, let's use the gold and put that there. Now what I do, it's almost like I'm trying to do a circle. From that joining point there, I do there, and then join it there. Some arcs there. Switch to the inside color, and then I've got this overlap. Now I think I'll use that color, maybe. Yeah, I'll keep it at that. And then we just start again. So the ones which go underneath go down first with the background color there. Put down the gold. There we go. I'll only do this little one and then I'll finish up. What colour did I use? That one. The trouble of doing things while talking about them. Those of you watching have probably spotted what I did. But yeah, so that is how you start to build up a longer pattern. Since I messed that up so royally without even noticing, you get so wrapped up in just doing the shapes that you forget the colours. Right, let's do it right this time. There we go. There, 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 and there. Oops, keep going the wrong way on the scroll wheel. There we go.
And then it'll be up to you to try and experiment and manage what I've done there. Whether it can be done on that scale, I don't know, but it'll be worth investigating. And as I just demonstrated earlier by zooming out from that one, if I zoom out, you can see that they retain a decent amount of shape. They go a bit square, but from this height, or for this distance, they look okay. And again, you can make them larger if needed. Slow myself down. And yeah, so if you like what you see, click the like button, click on subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I'm essentially trying to just sort of show new features as well as anything I sort of discover, which is quite cool to play with. There is a new copy and paste feature on the experimental branch. So either in a few days I'll do a video on that, just exploring how to use it and what you can get from it, because it does take a little bit of getting used to, but it's fairly straightforward and quite cool. So with that, I hope you found this useful. Any comments below if there's anything you want shown, or if I could have done something better, let me know. And yeah, see you in the next one.